I'm ready whenever.
So yeah, I'm streaming right now. And also, if you haven't joined the Google Classroom, everybody please do that. You noticed at the end of the week, last week, I uploaded stuff. Let me go ahead and let people in real quick. All right, everybody's getting admitted.
Yay! I'm so
Like I
glad
said,
there is.
everybody please join the Google Classroom. If you guys have sent me emails, I just haven't had time to respond them. It's been a crazy week with all Apple's announcements and everything else going on at the company. So I apologize. I'll be getting to everybody's emails as soon as I can.
Yeah. Well, it's a great week.
Yeah, we have a lot of announcements to make. So I think probably the first 15 minutes is gonna be a bunch of announcements.
I mean, hey, we got to do what we got to do, right?
Morning.
We have a lot of announcements, including my Let's Talk AI has moved to a new time.
What
We gotta talk
has?
about that too.
Oh yeah, the AI thing. Yes,
Yeah, my Let's Talk AI ACB call is now going to be streaming on ACB Media.
that's
I
exciting.
think it's 5 or 6.
That's exciting.
So it's going to be at a new time. I'm going to explain everything when everybody gets in.
Awesome.
I'm now going to disable the waiting room.
Hope it was a good Tuesday last Tuesday.
It was.
I
We
I
had 2 new
try
students.
I try never to like just do that, but I swear sometimes when you are an executive director and you wear about half a dozen hats, you just gotta triage things and shift. You know what I mean?
That's okay, Laurel.
But I do want to publicly thank the Rotary Club for making a very generous donation to the Laurel Wheeler Foundation. We appreciate it more than I can express. I'm very thankful. Incredibly so. It meant a lot.
So, and you guys are here. Michael will be coming at 10:30. So yeah. Let's see. I'm trying to look at my time. I think we're ready to start. It's 10:04. We need to get started. If you guys are in chat, I'm going to be doing my best to monitor that. So just if you're on YouTube. And yeah, let me make sure I'm on my YouTube page before I get started real quick. Kind of a crazy morning. But yeah. Okay, so let's get started. So hello everyone. This is another Learn to Code Tuesday. Laurel is back again from the last week's craziness. Laurel, say
Yes, I
hello.
am. I'm very thankful to be back. And like I said, sometimes, guys, I just have to juggle multiple hats. So I try never to just all of a sudden say, hey, I gotta go. But, occasionally it happens.
It's all right, Laurel. No big deal.
Oh my
So
gosh.
we also have a few students in Zoom. We will get to those later. Um, we have a
I
few
think it's
announcements to make. Oh,
I
what,
think it's
Laurel?
also important just to note, like right off the bat, that on June 24th, and I think it's going to be what the week after that or something like that.
June
Well,
24th to July 12th. Let's just mark all that off.
right. We won't be doing a free code camp because the ACB and NFB conventions will both be going on,
Yes.
and we are involved in the ACB convention. Um, I love the NFB, no shade. I'm not a favorite. It's just, guys, the ACB convention is right in my backyard. I
Yes.
can't go to New Orleans. So, um, I was able to go to the ACB convention. I will be having an exhibit table there for the Laurel Wheeler Foundation, along with the shared virtual Lions Club for the blind and visually impaired. We've got one now. We started a Lions Club chapter that meets virtually for blind and visually impaired people nationwide. So if you want to know more about that, check us out. We'll also be presenting in some of the open house and exhibitor spaces for the virtual convention. And I know Taylor and Techopolis have a presence there too. Do you want to mention that?
Yeah, so we're not in the exhibit hall, although, excuse me, I guess my voice is meh. Blitz, really? Bits,
Bits.
blind information technology specialist as a booth. Now, we will probably not be there that often. Honestly, if you want to reach us directly, just contact us. Um,
But she's
I can't,
attending the
yeah,
convention. So, like, there's,
yeah.
as attendees, there's a lot of stuff going on. We know that a lot of our students are attending the other, either one of the two conventions. And we also know, if for those of you who are not attending either one, both conventions have some virtual activity going on. And so I do not know as much about what the NFB's got going on virtually this year. I do know
You
the
you can
ACB has
register for
virtually.
NFB virtual, Laurel,
Right,
and you
yes,
can
you
get a
can.
bunch of
I'm
things.
saying I'm not as knowledgeable about that. But I know that both the NFB and ACB have virtual convention options. So I would strongly encourage people to check out both and, see what the offerings are and explore that those weeks while
Yes.
we're not doing it in session. And like I said, guys, I've always talked about it. I am a member of both. I know that I personally agree with some of both, don't agree with some of both. I know that both have awesome things going on, great things, and I fully think that every blind person should familiarize themselves with both organizations and explore them, especially during convention season when virtual activity is high, and should kind of explore and see what works best for you and take
And
advantage of
next
it.
year, NFB is going to be in Austin, so then we're going to flip the
Yes.
script.
Yes.
So, yes.
So, I mean, I'm all a fan of networking when you can and taking full advantage of the opportunities. So, between June 4th and June 24th, oh my gosh, June 24th and July 12th, we won't be having Learn to Code because we're going to be encouraging everyone to participate either in person at the conventions or virtually in either one and kind of learn more about those spaces and different presentations and different things that suit your interests. There's a ton going on, and we would be remiss not to encourage you to take part.
Now, with that being said, on the 24th, the Let's Talk AI community call is still going on. So, if you're not sure what that is, it's a community call on ACB I do every other week, and it is going on. And actually, I need to talk about that in a second because we have a new time. So, that is still going on the 24th. And we are doing an unofficial Let's Talk AI meetup at convention. I say unofficial because it's not official. And, it's not part of the agenda, so you're not going to go find it there. The best way to know about it is to subscribe to the new Let's Talk AI mailing list. So, Let's Talk AI mailing list, you can do talk, TALK plus subscribe at TAYLORARNDT.com. So, talk AI plus subscribe at taylorarnt.com. That is the email, the group that we have. And so that is when you can get notified of all of the activities for the Let's Talk AI call. I'm going to put that in the chat on both places, but I just want to encourage you guys to subscribe to that list also. On the community call today, we are doing WWDC and how it relates to AI. And we're going to have a co-presenter, which I haven't had in the Let's Talk AI. The co-presenter is no one new to Let's Talk AI, and well, also in my life. It's Michael. He's going to be on Let's Talk AI. So we're going to have that. That's going to start from our new time is 4 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. Central, 2 p.m. Mountain, 1 p.m. Pacific, I think. Some of those times. If you are not subscribed to the community email community@acb.org. You can also join in Clubhouse, or you can now join on ACB Media. I believe it's 5 or 6. So there's different channels. You can download the ACB Link app, which, yes, we made at Techopolis. So if you have problems with it, you can talk to us. But those are some ways you can listen to the community call now. But again, always subscribe to that email address, talkai@taylorart.com. That's the email to post, and talkai plus subscribe at taylorart.com. So I know that was a lot of information. Does
I'll
anybody
be
have any
subscribing.
questions?
Let's go.
Thank you, Laura. And that is not an announce only list. So if you have things that are related to the call, you can post them there. Of course, I'm going to moderate to make sure it's not, but it has to be related to AI. Okay, so if you have anything, like I said, it's a collaborative community. So everyone should please subscribe to that if you would like to know when my calls are, when the recordings are uploaded, etc., etc. Any questions from the Zoom or the YouTube? I don't think I have any chats on YouTube. I'm going to be putting the information in the Zoom. Okay. So that is that. So yeah, talk AI plus subscribe at taylorart.com. So that is the Let's Talk AI mailing list. It is a Google group. So Laurel, that might help you get introduced to Google groups. Okay. Anyone in Zoom have any questions before I move on to our next announcement? I got a few announcements left, and then we guys can talk about other things that are more important. I mean, of course, announcements are very important, but we can talk about code and Apple and Swift and you name it. We'll probably talk about it. Any questions from the Zoom? Laurel, are you still there?
I am. I was able to read a summary of WWDC yesterday, and
Yeah, did you see the one that I posted?
I did actually.
Wonderful. So for those who are uninitiated, I posted a summary of Let's Talk AI. I'm sorry, not Let's Talk AI. Wrong thing. Too many things going on in the
WWDC.
brain. Of WWDC on the iAccessibility website, iAccessibility.net. I was going to post it to my Substack yesterday, but due to it's been very crazy yesterday and I've been watching a lot of WWDC sessions, I just did not have time. And let me go over one more thing real quick. A lot of people think that WWDC is over Monday, like yesterday.
It's
That
not
is
over.
not true.
No.
No, there's a lot of sessions. And in fact, if you are a paid Apple developer, right? So Techopolis is, you can go to what are called labs. And they are literally where you can learn from the Apple engineers themselves and ask questions. So I'm going to be going to like 10 or 11 labs over the next 3 days. And I'm actually going to one right after this call. So, that is how that works. Again, you have to be a paid Apple developer, I believe, and that is $99.99 a year. And if you are an organization, again, that's $99.99 a year. For you, Laurel, especially, you'd be an organization, so you have to have the DUNS number and all that crazy stuff. That's fully unrelated.
Yeah.
And real quick, if aspiring iOS developers, if you ever want to have a team eventually, we learned this the hard way, you might want to get an organizational account sooner than later. Because if you try to invite multiple people to your individual account, for one thing, you're not going to succeed. And for another, it's just going to turn into a hot mess. So, word of wisdom from people who've done this before. So, that is that announcement. Again,
I will say, like, one of the things I looked at, I was like, oh man, because some of the Macs that are not going to be supported anymore are like 2018, 2019, and then some 2020 models as far as the new OS goes. And I'm thinking, well, dang, I know a lot of people who can't afford a new Mac who are gonna, oh my gosh.
Laurel, some of that's not true. I have to look at the exact Macs. But what I will say is if you have an Intel Mac, so non-M series, this is the final release for you until next year. when you're not going to get anything else. Okay? So,
Yeah,
word of wisdom.
I know a lot of people that are going to be impacted by that, unfortunately.
Yeah,
So,
that's just how technology moves, unfortunately.
I know. I mean, but it's hard though when, a lot of blind people are on a fixed income and can't afford to just update, and that's challenging.
It is.
But, you know, that's life, and hopefully our foundation can get some grants and things like that to help people with stuff like that.
Yes, and that's definitely what I think is going to need to happen. And I mean, you can also develop on an iPad. Did somebody just join this?
Mariana left, but maybe she'll be
Oh,
back.
okay.
I have the very first M series Mac of 2020, so
You should be fine, Laura. You'll
I
be fine
should
for a
be, but I
while.
was just saying I know a lot of people who, oh
And
man, so,
no M series Macs are going to get deprecated,
which
okay?
is good. I just feel for a lot of the people that
Oh, I
have
understand.
older,
I understand.
so.
Okay, so let's talk about something else. Google Classroom. We've been doing this since last
I think
week.
the only reason I really mentioned that piece about the technology is that people need to know to start planning to save up,
Oh, yes.
you know.
And sorry, Laurel, I
No,
cut
you're
you
good.
off. I didn't know you were not done with that topic.
No, no, you're good. I just wanted to mention it as not a complaint, but like,
Right,
hey,
right.
blind people, you guys need to be aware, and it impacts older iPads as well, and it will
Yes.
impact older iPhones older than the 11, and it will impact older Apple Watches. So you need to start thinking now about when you'll need to replace your older technology if you have some, and you'll need to start budgeting and saving up. Hopefully,
Mm-hmm.
and if you guys know of people, I'm shameless plugging our foundation. Give me a second and indulge me, Taylor, because one of the
It's all
things we
right.
do is we provide technology to blind and visually impaired recipients, both in America and around the world, who qualify, who financially can't afford to help themselves out. I mean, like if you've got all the newest Macs and Androids and Windows and or all the newest Macs and you just want to switch operating systems, you might not qualify. But if you like truly don't have working technology and are in need, apply and we can try and help you. With that said, we're small and we have a certain limited amount of resources. So if anyone out there knows of grants or organizations that would help us and make a donation to support people whose technology may be not supported next year, reach out because we know we need to plan for the inevitable influx. But
And a lot of ACB affiliates have tech grants.
right, good. So what I'm saying is either plan yourself or look for tech grants, or if you guys know of people that will help support our foundation as we, get applicants for technology, reach out because we need the support. Anyway, I just feel like it needs to be said so that people have it on their radar to start planning.
Yes, and sorry I cut you off. I'm just
No,
trying to
you're
get through the
fine.
announcements
That's all
before
I was
Michael
gonna
came
say.
in.
It's like it's important. So either start planning or if people know of businesses or places that will support us and our mission, what we do, we need the help. So anyway, I on to the next item, which is Google Classroom.
Yes. So, as you guys know, we had 2 new students last week, which is amazing. And what is going to happen is that you guys, if you would like, can join the Google Classroom for Learn to Code Tuesdays. And this will get you access to end of session like summaries that I have. It will get you access to different topics. It will get you access to even communicating outside of class. Yes, you can do that. Don't be afraid to put up a discussion in the introduction or the forums. But this is going to be a place where anybody is welcome. You don't even have to attend these meetings regularly. Like if you have a work conflict, don't worry, because you'll get all the recordings, as soon as they're out. So, I'm gonna send the link to Google Classroom. All you do is you join in with your Google account, and then you can be able to get access to the classroom data. You can be able to post, you can be able to do assignments. Of course, we're not having assignments in this. We're just gonna not have quizzes either. But we may occasionally have surveys to figure out where people are with their free coding camp journey. So I'm gonna send this real quick. But you guys should join. Seriously. It will really help you practice. Like, let's say you're going to school. A lot of schools use Google Classroom, so it'll help you to practice in the real world with
Do
Google
we have
tools.
the ability as a practical matter to, or maybe you did this and I just missed the memo, and I'm sorry, I'm wearing too many hats. Did we send out a Google Classroom invite to all of the people who have registered for FreeCodeCamp?
It was in that email, yeah, Laura.
Okay.
We can't invite everybody because not everybody has their Google accounts. Like a lot of them have their
Oh,
.gov.
I got it. Okay.
And
So,
the other, sorry, what?
so you need a Google account.
Or a workspace like a Techopolis or
Right, but
other
like
works.
if we're gonna invite a student, they'll need a Google account.
Yes, and you, Laurel, you should be accepted as a teacher so you can
I
manually
am.
enroll people.
I am. Okay,
You go to the
so
people tab and then students and then enroll.
what I'll do is I will enroll the people automatically. I'll enroll them who have a Gmail account. If you are registered for Free Code Camp, meaning you signed up on Zoom and you registered, and we have your information, but you don't have a Google account, I'll email you and let you know that you can do that, but that you'll need to sign up with a Google account if you want to be part of the Google Classroom.
Thank you, Laurel.
I'll do that. I just wanted to procedurally make sure I knew how to reach out to everybody.
Yes, that would be a good idea. The other thing I will make a disclaimer. This Google Classroom is hosted by Techopolis. It's not hosted by Laurel Wheeler. We did that on purpose. The reason we did that is because we can have up to 1,000 students in this classroom.
Right, so this is part of our co-partnership. Like, we're
Right.
working together.
So what I'm going to tell you is that by participating in this classroom, you are abiding by, all the policies and all that jazz. There's really nothing other than the fact that Techopolis Online Solutions does not give anybody Google accounts unless, of course, you work there. But
Right.
that is in the Techopolis Google Classroom guide in week 1 or week 0, whatever I put it. So you definitely want to read that to understand how Google Classroom works. Laurel, you might want to read that also.
I will. No, I will. But yeah, I'll make sure that we organizationally get that done. Yeah. So awesome. That's huge news,
And
and
if you
that's
have your friends, invite everybody because I'll be posting before each of the class saying, here's Zoom link, go join. And also, post it. This is something you can post on Facebook, Laurel.
awesome. Perfect.
So
Perfect. We'll share it.
I
Perfect.
didn't want to do I didn't want to do anything without your.
No, that's perfect. I mean, heck, you're a mod on our page too, so you can
Yes, I
share it
just
as
didn't want
well.
to post, without you knowing that I was gonna do something.
Well, I'm freely giving you permission to post about it, so go for it.
Okay. So
You know.
yeah, this is the Google Classroom,
Listen,
and again,
don't
if you.
Taylor, don't ever hesitate to just do it. And anything related to our Learn to Code stuff, I don't care. Post about it on our
Okay.
nonprofit page because I may not have the time. As you know, I'm swamped. So are you, I know. But
Yes.
anything related to our Learn to Code stuff, just do it.
Yes,
I don't
and
care.
I think also people are asking for a mailing list. Laurel, I've already made the decision. We can handle that Techopolis. You don't even have to worry about
All
that.
right, perfect. I'll just let
So
you
we will
handle it
have a
then.
classroom and a mailing list. So if
I'll
people don't want to
delegate.
join the classroom, they
I'll
can join the
delegate
mailing
that
list.
task to you, and don't ever hesitate to post something about it on our Facebook page. It helps our social media content too, or whatever, but it helps get the messaging
Yeah.
out. So don't hesitate. Just do it.
So everybody needs to do that. And I will be posting more details. Also, if you are not, for some reason, if your email is not correct when you registered, whatever, fix that because make sure we don't have any bouncy emails. We had a few of those last time. So we want to avoid those as much as possible. And those are kind of my announcements. Any questions from Zoom? You guys have been very quiet. I want to make sure everybody understands all this information. Is everybody okay? Everybody good? Laurel, do you have any questions? Everybody good on this?
I believe so. Hey, does Google Classrooms have an app for Android or
Yes?
iPhone?
Yes, they have an app for both. And you know what? Whenever I upload something, everybody gets a notification.
Perfect. I'll set that up on my work phone. I've got a work phone and If I didn't send you my work number, I will, Taylor, but I've
No,
got a
you
work
did
number
not
now.
send it to me. Send
Okay,
it to me later.
will do. Will do.
I'm gonna quickly
Perfect.
do a demonstration of Google Classroom so that you guys can understand it. So I'm
Yes,
gonna share
do
my
that
screen.
so that we all know and understand.
And I am a teacher, so things may look slightly different, but that's okay because you guys can teach any classrooms. This can even be used for your Blind Lions Club, Laurel, if you want to like have a place like, for clubs or need to put information. It does not have to be an academic centered thing. This is useful for anything.
I will
Okay.
probably look into setting one up for our foundation, so.
Yeah. So what I'm going to show you, and you can have up to 250 students in a personal Gmail Google Classroom.
Awesome.
I'm going to go ahead and slow down my NVIDIA real quick. And I'm going to be doing a demo. That way you guys understand how to use those. I'm going to make it quick because we have Michael coming in soon. So I'm going to make it quick. Okay. So and I've got voiceover, but don't worry about that. Just because I'm I'm on dual Mac and Windows setup. So if you're voiceover, don't worry about it. Uh-oh, maybe not. Hold on.
Audio sub. Start video sub.
Okay,
Start.
can you guys hear
Zoom.
me?
Zoom. Zoom. As new window.
Laura,
I gotcha.
can you hear the speech?
Voiceover off.
I can.
Navigation landmark menu item home.
Loud and clear. We gotcha.
All right, so the way to get to your classes, and I'm not going to actually show you this because there's a lot of things in here that probably are not applicable. There's a thing called, you go to classroom.google.com, okay, and then you land on your classes page, and then you can click on the class you want to edit. Yours is probably not going to look like mine. I've got like 5 or 10 classes on here. Okay. So, I'm on the home page.
Out of menu navigation landmark button collapse Google account Taylor Art left parent. Taylor Techopolis online right parent.
All right, so that's my teacher account. And then if I press down arrow,
Navigation landmark menu item home.
so I have home. This is like your home page of your class.
Menu item calendar.
This is the Google Calendar for the class. So every Google Classroom has a calendar that's a Google Calendar. So you can throw events on here, right? So like, let's say we're going to be off. You can throw that on this Google Calendar so that people know, oh, hey, we're actually off these few weeks. So that's a really good feature. And you can actually subscribe to that calendar with like iCal or other things so you can see when all the events are.
Separator. Menu item expanded teaching.
So this is for teaching. I'm not going to go through this, but if you're teaching a class,
Teaching group menu item practical type menu item learn to code Tuesdays.
these are all my classes. And again, shameless plug, you guys should join all the Techopolis classes as well. They are all free. And of course, Techopolis All Access is coming back very soon once Michael gets the site sorted out.
Menu item getting started with WordPress Fusion development. Menu item Swift UI basics.
And that's the Swift UI Basics. That's actually our most popular class.
Menu item getting started with AI training. Out of grouping separator. Menu item archive classes.
So it's the archive classes. Again, that's, if you're a teacher, you archive
Menu item settings.
settings. I'm not going to go in there because you'll see all my personal details. No need.
Out of menu navigation landmark list with 4 items visited link stream left parent. Selected right parent.
So this is the stream. The stream is almost like a feed. So you can think about this as, let's say you go to your, your dashboard, right? This has everything going on, right? So it has the recent stuff, it has posts, it has links, and I'm even going to show you how to post. So from here, I like to use my headings to be able to navigate to headings to be able to do things quick. So I'll show you. I'll just press H.
Learn to code Tuesdays heading level 1.
Learn to Code Tuesdays. This is the class name.
Button customize.
I can hit customize. I'm not going to do that, but you can customize the layout, the display, and I believe students have this access as well.
Button collapse view class information.
View class information. So I'm going to do this, and this, I think students have this, but I will note in most classes you will not want to share the invite code or other things, but in this class, share it with your friends. Don't be afraid to. Okay, so I'll click on this to show you.
High class information expanded. Expanded class code. Shears.
So this is the class code,
Button display class code. Complementary landmark meet.
and then there's a class Google Meet. Okay, so every Google Classroom has a Google Meet. So it's literally a central link for people to join. Now, in this case, we like Zoom, but let's say we had some kind of office hours. We had some kind of thing that maybe Google Meet would be awesome for. We could just have a Meet link that everybody could just join. Okay, so does that make sense? Everybody could just join right here, right now, with this Meet link if they wanted to. Okay, we're not going to set that up, but that's something that can happen in classrooms. So let's say you have 2 Zoom meetings going on at once. No worries, you could just use Google Meet, right? So you always have options.
Menu button collapse submenu meet link options.
Meet link options, you could generate one. Don't worry about this.
Button generate link.
There you go, generate link.
Class code.
So that's the class code. Let me escape out of there. I think I can do that.
Menu button collapse submenu more options for class code.
More options, you can revoke
Here's-
it. That's only for teachers, I think.
Button display class code. Heading level 2 upcoming.
Upcoming. So this is like for assignments or other things to do. In this class, you're not gonna have any assignments. The only assignment-like thing I may do from time to time, probably once a month, is just saying, where are you at in your free code camp journey? So I may do that once a month, okay? But that is not an assignment. It's mainly a survey. Okay, but I'm gonna show you this anyway.
No work too soon.
No work due soon. So if you have a work due soon, we'll say, hey, you have chapter 1 assignment due tomorrow, right? So, if you're in college, you can be like, oh, I have this due tomorrow. I need to submit it. And it's very easy to submit assignments. And, for Techopolis classes, you will be submitting assignments. But in this case, you will not be submitting assignments. Okay. Unless we do some kind of like group projects or other things later on. Let me go down.
Link view all work.
View all work. So this is where you can view all the work, like in progress or the things. I'm not going to go into here, but I will show you another way to get to all of the work. That's slightly easier. Again, I'm not going to go into here just because of the fact that we want to make sure that, we're making this demo for your class. I don't want to introduce you to too many things that will confuse people.
Main landmark button announce something to your class.
No, this is something that I'm going to actually demonstrate right here, right now. This is announce something to your class. So what this does is it creates a new post on the forums. Now, the forums are a great way to stay connected to your class. So let's say you need help with a code challenge. You don't have to wait for these meetings. You can actually post something right here, right now, and be able to get help immediately. That's right. You can get help immediately. And well, I'm going to immediately, but at least you can get help, before the meetings. Okay, so all you have to do is press announce something.
Learn the code to's main landmark. Announce something to your class. Edit multi-line blank.
I'm going to say hello
H-E-L-L space
all.
L-L. Formatting options toolbar. Bold toggle button not pressed.
Okay, I'm pressing tab again.
Add Google Drive file button.
Google Drive,
Button add YouTube video.
YouTube video, so I can embed something.
Button upload file.
Upload.
Button add link.
I'm just pressing down arrow here, by the way.
Button cancel. Button post.
And I can just hit post. Let me make this
Link skip
better.
to main landmark. Announce something. Blank. All. Hello. All. Blank. Blank. Space.
New,
N-E. Dot space. S-T-U-D-E-N-E-S. Dot space.
we
W space. Space. A-R-E space. D-O-I-N-G space. H space.
a classroom
L-A-S-S-R-O-O-M space.
demo.
E-M-O. Dot.
I could just hit B for buttons.
Format italic top underlined. Remove formatting. But add Google Drive. Add YouTube video. Upload file button. Add link button. Cancel button. Post button.
Now, if you have the app installed, you will notice something. And if you are already in the class, Laura, pay attention to this especially. You will get notified of something new on the forums. Okay, so watch this. I'm going to press post.
Posting dot dot dot. Unavailable. Announce something to your class button. Post created.
Post created. And then, if you are part of the class and you are enrolled, you will get an email saying Taylor aren't via Classroom. That's because I announced something. Everything that is announced or that's added is going to give you a notification. Okay, so this is very important. This is why I say pay attention to your Classroom. Download the app.
Button reuse post.
And I can reuse an existing post.
Heading level 2 announcement colon. Quote. Hello all new students. Dot. We are doing a dot dot dot. Quote.
And I can press H2 or headings for the announcement. So if I do it again.
Announcement colon. Quote. Hello class bang. Here are some of the dot dot dot. Quote. Heading level 2.
So you realize I just pressed H for headings. And then I can press enter.
Taylor aren't created. Menu button collapse submenu announcement options for hello class bang.
Or I can press down arrow to read the announcement.
Here are some of the resources we talked about during our meeting colon.
And you notice I posted some of the resources that we talked about in our last meeting, right? So I can keep doing this.
Post by Christopher Thornhill. Heading level 2.
Christopher Thornhill posted. I didn't actually see this.
Christopher menu button collapsed. Christopher Thornhill created John 3. Menu. Hey guys, I do have a question about step 4 of the cat photos app of base E.
Right, so I can respond to this, but watch this.
Comments. One class comment.
One class comment. Okay, so this is if you're responding.
Marvin Duncan.
And then Marvin.
John 3. Button reply. Menu button collapse. Menu button collapse submenu. The next deployment of the platform. Dot. Whenever that will be. Menu button collapse submenu. S. Dot. So did post a support ticket to GitHub. Dot. And they said they raked off the issue. Dot. You.
That's something about, I'm not exactly sure, but something that challenge may be broken. But do you realize how accessible this is? And you can even reply to the people. Okay, so this is the stream tab. Anybody have any questions about this? I'm still waiting for Michael to come in. Michael, are
Fun
you
fact,
here?
I just got the email notification about your latest Google Classroom announcement. So you do get the notifications even to your
And
email.
then Michael just commented. So watch this. I can go up here because I got an email saying Michael just commented on the comment or the post, so Michael must be around here somewhere.
Links.
And I can
Navigation landmark. Google
watch
Learn to Code
this.
Tuesdays heading level 1.
I'm actually here, Taylor.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry, Michael. I'm finishing this up real quick, and then we can start.
Yeah, I know. That's why I was staying quiet.
Complimentary landmark upcoming heading level 2.
So I can go to
Main
the
landmark announcement colon. Quote, hello all
announcement.
new students dot. We are doing a dot dot dot. Quote heading level 2.
And then watch this.
Taylor Art created 10 colon 34 question mark M.
I can press B, I
Announcement
think.
options for hello all new students dot. We are hello all new students dot. We are doing one class comment.
One class comment.
Michael Dwaz. 10 colon 35 button reply. Menu button responding to your message dot.
So Michael, you were trying to figure out how to respond. I can
Menu
do it
button
right
collapse
here.
submenu
You
options for
see?
comment
It
colon.
says
Quote responding to your
options,
message dot. Quote button reply.
and then I can hit reply. Do you see where I do that, Michael? Because I know you
Yep.
were curious about that.
Yeah, I saw that before, but you can only do that on the web. You cannot do that in the
That's
mobile app.
correct. So this is a basic introduction to the stream tab. I'm going to show you one more thing. Again, this is not going to be comprehensive. I'm going to show you the classwork. So the classwork is where all the work is posted. Okay, this is a great place. You know, you can see all the assignments, the quizzes, all the other things. Remember, there's no quizzes in this class, so don't worry about that. But there's going to be surveys and other interactive things that you may need to fill out from time to time. And all a survey is just a Google form. So if you ever filled out a Google form, you can actually fill out quizzes and other things on this app.
Links
Okay.
skip to
So let me show you the classwork.
navigation landmark Google class heading level 1.
I can press my links list
Elements list dialog. Preview level 0 learn to
or
code Tuesday.
elements.
Stream left parent C classwork semi visited 5 of 15. Loading
Classwork.
dot. Blank.
This is
Out of reach.
classwork.
Navigation landmark Google Classroom graphic classroom link learn to main landmark topic meeting for John 3 region clickable meeting for John 3 heading level 2.
So you notice I posted meeting for June 3, right? So this is the meeting from last week, and I can press down arrow,
Link meeting for John 3.
and I can expand the topic.
Menu button collapse submenu topic options for meeting for John 3.
Of course, I can edit these. You can't do that.
List with one item clickable button collapse recording.
So this is the recording, and it will open up a YouTube video.
Material. Recording.
This is the material. This is like, you know, the material that you'll get, right? So it could say assignment or quiz, but this just has material.
Posted John 3.
And then it will say when it's posted.
Menu button collapse submenu material options for recording.
Okay.
Out of list out of region topic Google Classroom orientation region clickable heading level 2 Google Classroom orientation.
And then there's Google Classroom orientation.
Link Google Classroom menu button collapse submenu topic options for Google list with one item clickable button collapse Techopolis Google Classroom guide.
And here's that Techopolis Google Classroom guide
Material.
that I was talking about earlier.
Techopolis Google Classroom guide. Posted John 3. Menu button collapse submenu material options for menu button collapse submenu material options for Techopolis Google Classroom guide.
And that's it. That is an introduction to Google Classroom. I'm not going to show you guys any more stuff at the moment, but this is a basic overview to get you guys going. Does this help in any way?
Yeah, this is awesome. I am super fired up about this, and I'm going to make it my goal to play with it, learn it, and even set one up for the foundation later today. But this is great. I think it's an underappreciated resource for the blind community, probably.
So, any other questions from Zoom? I don't have any on YouTube, but then we're going to start the main programming of the show. It seems like you guys are pretty quiet. If you have questions, you can also throw them in chat. So, Michael, are you ready to begin the main portion, the WWDC portion, which is what the topic title is of this live stream?
Sure. So if you want to go ahead and I'm writing an email. So if you want to go ahead and start it off, and I'll catch up with you.
Okay, so I just real quick need to go do something, but yesterday was Apple's Worldwide Developers Conference. We talked about this earlier, and every year they announce something, you know, depending on how much, you know, it's either good, bad. Most of the time it's good for us because we are Apple fanatics. And this usually is a 4-day event, so it goes from like Monday to Friday. And every Monday, you know, it's usually the first week of June or second week, they have a keynote. And this is their keynote where they announce everything that's new in like watchOS, tvOS, iOS, macOS, Vision Pro, etc., etc. And so because this is a coding event, we're going to kind of spin this in the, you know, how can this help you if you want to ever learn to code for Swift and iOS, but also the AI aspects. Does that sound pretty good, Michael?
Yep.
Real quick, Michael, I need to go do something real quick. So do you want to start us off so I can quickly do something real quick?
Sure. So we have so many different things that were announced yesterday. Um, I mean, there were so many great things, especially for developers and people getting started. So it, all ties back into this. And what's really exciting is they covered so many things. And in fact, they basically made the iPad into a computer. And I'm not lying on that. They've made so many improvements. They've made the iPad into a computer. They've added full windowing support to the iPad. So you could have multiple windows on the screen at once. But one of the things that was not really talked about much that I'm really excited about is they changed the Files app on iPad. So it now has where you can associate file types with different apps. So if I'm writing Python, I could have it open a app for Python and have it set as the default app for Python files, .py files. I could do the same for HTML and JavaScript files. I can, come up with apps that I want. And they also added background tasks. So theoretically, you can run a web server on your iPad now. So for development testing. So that it's pretty incredible the things that they've done. They've basically taken the iPad and they've made it into a computer. So developer apps will be flourishing on the iPad come September. They had a lot of redesign talk. They did a lot of this and that, and they did a lot of AI. But this was really the year that the iPad is going to fly. Like the iPad has needed this for a long time. The Mac is getting automations through shortcuts and other areas, so it's going to improve there. And they've added Apple Intelligence to shortcuts, so you can have actions that can summarize text or generate text, or a lot of different things as well. So you could technically use apps to transcribe audio and then get a summary of that audio. And all of that is there. There's now where you could use AI with 3 lines of code in iOS apps or anything using a Mac, really, or iPad or iPhone. So you import their model, you start a session, and then you start playing. You ask for a response. So it's really incredible what you're able to do with what they're giving us now. When you say Taylor, are you back? I guess she's not back yet, but
Yes,
um,
I couldn't find my mute button, Michael.
ah,
Unmute. Same difference. I agree. And Michael, I know there's so many announcements and we could spend all hour, however much longer we have, going through everything, but I think there's a lot of places that already summarize it, including my blog post, wouldn't you say?
yep,
So I think what we should do today is kind of spin it in a developer angle. Do you kind of like agree saying like how can all this stuff help you as a developer? And how can all this stuff help you make better apps and even get started in the world of development? Because I know some of you guys have interests in making apps for iOS and other platforms.
indeed.
So, like I said, this is going to kind of be an interview style, kind of. It's going to be an interactive discussion. So, if you guys want to get unmuted, you don't have to raise your hands. And if you have questions, just chime in, interrupt us. Let's just make it very interactive. This is not like the first part of the show where we had a whole bunch of announcements. This is now you guys' time to talk and, create a discussion. So, sorry, I just got check my mask on. Anyway, so yeah, this is your guys' time to talk. So, any questions from anybody in Zoom before we actually get started? Okay. Laurel, do you have anything?
I was just gonna say I'm really excited about the developments for the iPad because a lot of people that used to be served by like a MacBook Air, or some kind of a MacBook are going to be even more easily served as An iPad with a external keyboard can basically function as a small computer. I think about it in terms of our foundation and what we provide people. I'm
So,
fired up.
Michael, I guess my first question, it's not really developer related, but it kind of is. Do you think the iPad can replace the computer for some users?
We're not talking about the heavy user. I'm talking about the
Right.
average person that
Right,
like,
that's what I'm trying to say.
yeah.
Because I have opinions on this, and I want to start a discussion.
So, in my opinion, absolutely. With what we're
Okay.
getting in the fall, it absolutely can. And the reason is we have windowing. We have so many different things now. I mean, we can copy files. We can you can view the files on your iPad. You can view the files using like Tailscale and other um, things like that. You can view the files on your own computers. You could connect to servers. You could technically connect to a Windows computer and view files. You can play a lot of games. You can pretty
Edit
much
audio and video.
you can edit audio with Logic Pro, edit video with DaVinci Resolve and Final Cut, and those apps are going to get background processing,
Yes.
so you can process your videos while you're not in those apps. We're getting the things that you could only do on the computer, on the iPad. Oh, and multiple audio devices. So
Oh,
you can have
yeah.
multiple apps that use different audio inputs and outputs. So yeah, they're upping the power on that too. We have the preview app, which is huge because it is Apple's PDF and image app that we had on the Mac. It's coming to iPhone and iPad with all the same features. We're having deep chat GPT integration into these devices. So the only apps we don't have is Terminal and Xcode. And there is a sort of terminal called A Shell, which works pretty similarly to the Mac terminal. So it's pretty incredible. And I just saw another thing and I don't think a lot of people have thought about it. Apple Notes is coming to the Apple Watch,
What?
yes, it's coming to the Apple Watch, which lets you record and probably summarize using Apple Intelligence from your phone.
Yes, record, transcribe, and summarize, and then use Apple
Uh-huh.
Intelligence.
Uh-huh.
Will that
So
replace things like the Bee or other things?
possibly. So what I'm saying is we're looking at a new paradigm of computing where Apple ran these ads for a while called "What is a computer?" And we're getting to that time where having a modern PC is not going to be the necessary thing to be successful anymore, I think.
I
People
agree.
may not fully agree with that, but I think that you can get an iPad and a keyboard. These and the iPad is getting a menu bar, guys. It's getting a menu bar.
I mean, think about this. So, like, I think it can replace a computer for a lot of people. If you think about this, what is the average? And I'm not talking about like, a developer or somebody who's maybe working on a computer 12 hours a day, like
Mm-hmm.
us, or, somebody who needs it for their job, or maybe a student who needs very specific functions. I'm talking about the average person or the average blind person. What are most people doing? Most people are word processing. This is my
Right.
experience. Like when my foundation gets applications from people around the world that are asking us to help give them technology, what do they want to use it for mostly? Because we ask. Most of the time, it's for, and there's nothing wrong with this, it's just the answer. Most of the time, it's for reading and writing, word processing, it's for email, it's for social media, it's for web browsing, and basically having access to the world, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like accessing blindness resources or reading books or writing or using the cameras to take pictures of things or audio and video calling, things like that, right? And that's the bulk of what people, and there's nothing wrong with it at all. I'm just saying that's the bulk of what most people around
What
the
people
world are
need.
asking us for technology for. Because one of our questions is we say, why are you requesting this piece of technology? Like, what would you do with it? You know?
Mm-hmm.
And it doesn't disqualify anyone. It just helps us to understand what will meet people's needs mostly, right? Because we don't want to give somebody something that's not going to meet their needs. And so if we're talking about the average person, they want to play blind accessible games. They want to connect with other blind people around the world, in our community anyway. They want to word process. They want to browse the web. They want to email. They want to be able to call and text people. An iPad, you know, if that's what their computing needs are, an iPad will meet all of that. You know?
Yeah.
100% of that an iPad will now meet.
Mm-hmm.
Especially if we're talking about the ability, and I'm excited about the ability to like open different file types and associate them with different apps, you know? That's awesome.
Yeah, and the fact that we can do even coding, right? Like,
Yeah,
I mean, yeah, and they have it where you could use like Pyto, Pyto, and find a Python file in your Files app and just open it. Oh, and I keep forgetting. You can now add folders to your dock on the iPad.
which is incredibly good. That's incredibly helpful.
So it's just like the Mac. So we have the menu bar. We have we
Now,
have
here's a question. I know that most people are going to maybe not know or not care, but I guarantee you somebody somewhere is going to think this, so I'll ask it on behalf of whoever may be thinking it. How does the newest, like when they are going to come out with the newest iPhones, how's that going to compare to the newer iPads and what you can or can't do? Because traditionally, most things that you can do on an iPad, you can also do on an iPhone traditionally. And like I said, I know that we all, like those of us sitting in the Zoom call, will know the answers better, but I guarantee you somebody will listen to this and will think the question, so I'll just ask it.
So in the past, you're right. Many of the features that have been put on the iPad are also on the phone.
Right,
And that's the same here too. But the thing that's different now is some of the dock features, putting folders in the dock, and being able to effectively use a keyboard. You don't get a menu bar, like you don't get all of those things on the phone.
right.
There's ways to get to all of those things, but it's more difficult. And it's a lot more efficient to use an iPad for productivity.
Right.
Even an iPad mini will run these new multitasking features with a menu bar.
Yeah,
That's how amazing they've done this.
I just ask simply because, like, you and me know the answer, but I know
Mhm.
that out there somebody's bound to have thought of the question. So, you know, I think it's an important distinction to make. You know what I mean?
Well, and the biggest thing is the thing that always comes up is, well, Apple's so expensive. And up until this year, my response would be, yeah, you're right. And Android's a good alternative if affordability is a issue. However, with some of the things that I believe that they've done this year and announced this year, Apple has redeemed themselves as far as why should you spend that money? Because I can tell Taylor right now, Taylor, I've got this icon file. I need it resized to 1024 by 1024 to work on the iPhone. And she could say, okay, I'm going to throw this in preview and accessibly change the size of that icon.
And that's
Boom.
exactly how I would do it now.
Uh-huh.
Yep. And I think,
Or-
for even a lot of people that are, you know, the average just wanting, you know, what we were talking about a bit ago out of a computer, you can now get it out of an iPad and you're paying
Mhm.
not nearly as much as you'd pay for a Mac or an
Right.
expensive PC.
And let me tell y'all something that most people don't know. The iPad Pro is an expensive device, yes, but the iPad Pro can have cellular data if you pay for that model. It can have, it has a touch screen, which a Mac doesn't have. It
Right.
has the Magic Keyboard, which is about as good as a Mac keyboard. It has a better screen. Believe it or not, the 13-inch iPad has a better screen than any Mac on the market. It has better speakers than the MacBook Air, in my opinion. Some people don't think so, but I think it has better speakers. It's a better media consumption device than a 13-inch MacBook Air. And they still have 16 gigs of RAM, if not more now.
I mean,
Well,
honestly,
yeah.
someday when I upgrade from my 2020 Mac, I'll probably, and I mean, I say probably because I haven't really looked into it myself yet, to be exact. Most likely, I'll upgrade to an iPad with a keyboard, I would imagine.
Of course, you haven't heard what the Mac got this year either.
Oh, yeah,
No.
but the Mac's price tag's going way up.
Well,
I'm
they
sure.
actually have not changed. In fact, a MacBook Air is actually lower than what they used to be.
Oh,
Yes.
really?
Yes.
What is it?
So you can get a MacBook Air for $1,000 with 16 gigs of RAM.
There you go.
It has 16 gigs of RAM. It does only have 256 of hard drive.
Well, that's what I have now currently, so.
But what you're getting in this release is folder actions through the Shortcuts app. You're going to get Spotlight is getting a huge improvement on the Mac, to the point where I don't even remember all the things that they talked about. Do you, Taylor?
Nope, I do not.
But they talked about better searching. You'll be able to use. Oh, that's right. So if apps have a option that you need to activate and you don't know the keystroke, you can type it in Spotlight while the app's open, and it will
Hey,
just
Michael, you're like roboting.
okay. You could type it in Spotlight. You could type in the command in Spotlight, and if the app is open, then it will perform that command. You won't need to worry about inaccessibility in apps if they donate their commands or their actions to Spotlight. And you can find them by typing text. And I think that is incredible.
It sure is.
I mean, can you imagine, like, if you're in a photo editing program and you could just type remove space background and press enter, boom, it does it. Or, just the possibilities are so limitless with what they've announced
I know.
yesterday. So it is an interesting time if you are an Apple user.
Hey,
Go ahead.
sort of related, but maybe not entirely to the Mac or iPad anyway. I would be really curious because I haven't heard it discussed a ton, and I'm just curious your take because I'm sure you've got a hot take on at this point the Apple Home devices or the Apple TV as compared with the Amazon Echo or Google Home ecosystem or the like Roku TV or whatever. I would be curious to hear how you think that they will compare now.
So
Do you have the? I'm sure you have a hot
that's a
take.
good point.
I'm sure you have a
They've
hot take
mentioned-
because here's the thing I see, and I'm not trying to criticize the blind community. I'm just this is an observation I am making personally. I've seen a lot of commentary in the last year or two on everybody focuses on analyzing the benefits of the phone or the iPad or the Mac. I don't see a lot of people that actively compare the TV or the home system. And so, and obviously, those things evolve too over time and
Mm-hmm.
with years. And so I'm really wanting to hear somebody who's an expert, as you are, talk about that part as well, like the now how the Apple TV stacks up against other accessible type of options, like Roku is a big one, or Amazon's Fire, or whatever,
Yeah.
or the home system environment. I would value your take because I don't hear a lot of
So
comparison.
we have A lady devices. I don't want to say your name.
Yeah, you'll
Um,
activate all of ours if you do.
uh-huh. We have S lady devices through HomePods,
Mm-hmm.
and we have Apple TVs. Okay. I will tell you that the HomePods do not offer the most support for doing things as A lady does. I think that's going to change fairly soon, but I don't feel like it has the same support that Lady A has, as I say it. I do feel like, though, as far as TV set-top boxes, the Apple TV is the best. And the reason why I say that is because VoiceOver works great on the Apple TV device. And most of the apps work pretty well with VoiceOver on those devices. And so I would recommend the Apple TV ecosystem for that. Now, with that being said, it depends on what you use HomePods for. I am considering switching mainly to those because I just needed to play my books, right? I like to put a book on when I go to sleep. And if that's all I'm using it for, why do I need all the other features? And I'm in one ecosystem. And I can even have
The
it play my
party
audio.
start.
Um, you could even get I don't know if somebody tried to say something or if we have a spammer, Taylor, so you may want to look into that.
Oh,
It was a different voice, I think.
Alfredo, who is trying to say something? If anybody's trying to say something, please let me know.
I didn't catch it quick enough either to figure out who it was.
We had spammers one day, so that's why I was.
I know we have a new participant, Hunter.
We had one day something weird came through, so
Yeah, and if you are here, like I said, I want to make sure that. Does anybody have any questions? Let's just start there.
yeah.
sorry, I'm a little late. Sorry about that.
No problem.
I'm a little
Um,
late too, but I really do appreciate this conversation because I am I've been doing a lot of thinking about the comparison between the different platforms. So I'm really enjoying this. Thank you.
And
Just
and
snacking.
again, if you have questions, you can interrupt us. Like I said, this
Yep.
conversation includes everybody in the room. It's not just between us.
and I mean, I have Android phones, I've got iPhones, I have a Samsung TV, which I don't think I'm going to buy another Samsung TV when this one
No,
goes
I
out.
don't think you should, Michael.
Because you can't hook a regular headphone jack up to it. They want you to use all of their stuff. I mean, they say Apple's bad about staying in their ecosystem. Samsung's pretty bad. But the HomePods are great. And if you hook two of them up to an Apple TV for a home theater system, they sound amazing. They really, really do. So those are some things to think about. But I think that the HomePod Mini sounds amazing as well. And you can you can hook a HomePod Mini up to a battery pack, and you have a mobile speaker that you can bring with you. Because the Lady A devices, they don't use USB-C, So you actually have to use an AC outlet for those on pretty much all of them now. But the HomePod Minis are USB-C, so you could hook those into anything. That's what I'm going to bring when I go to convention is a HomePod Mini. And then you can even
Speaking
set
of,
up a pair of those. Oh, go ahead.
yeah, like speaking of Apple stuff or Apple like stuff devices, what you have any of you watched WWDC yesterday?
Oh, yes. We were just talking about that earlier. The iPad is what got the biggest improvements. The iPad is basically a computer because they added changes to the Files app to support file type apps for different file types. So that means like for Python files, you can open it in a certain Python application. For HTML, you could open it in your favorite application. For Swift files can be opened in Swift playgrounds. That's actually kind of an interesting thing now that I think about it. Because technically, you could save Swift Playground files on your iPad and have apps that are. Wow, I didn't even think about that. Whoa, I need to play with that later. Imagine it. You have Swift Playgrounds that you could just have on your iPad and run at any time. You don't have to put them in the App Store. Oh, and you can give them out too. Oh. Huh.
Also, is anyone testing the betas?
Absolutely.
I am too.
I have it. I have it on my phone. Did you think about that at all, Taylor?
No, Michael, you're still like going in and out, in and out, in and out.
I am for the moment.
That's awesome though.
Am I still going in and out?
Not right now, but you kept doing that earlier.
I was for a minute because I was sitting at my desk with my phone in my pocket.
You know what's funny? Like this is beta 1 and it doesn't I mean it's still like visually buggy, but like even with voiceover it's not terrible.
Oh,
I
there
know.
have been there have been people with voiceover bugs. Believe me,
Yes, I know, and
we know
we know a
people who
couple.
have.
But I'm saying on the iPhone though.
Even on the iPhone, they've had bugs. Certain voices do not work.
Oh, see, I just use one voice and I
Interesting.
stick to it.
Yeah, I normally like to try and stay to one voice.
I'm just eloquent.
Oh, that's funny, I'm using it right now.
But no, the interesting thing is, I really like the uh oh, it's time to update my watch. I'm putting my watch on the beta as well.
Oh, nice.
The other thing that I'm a huge fan of, I'm low vision, so I don't use speech, and I use the Vision Pro, and they added a feature to zoom your surroundings with Vision Pro, and that mostly does everything I wanted out of the glasses. I bought them for that purpose.
That's
So
awesome.
is Vision Pro their VR offering?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. But the Vision Pro lets you see in your environment. And so I could zoom in, and I was watching somebody walk down the sidewalk across. We have a big street called North Lamar Boulevard. So it's like there's an island in the middle, and I was watching
Ooh, excuse me.
somebody walk their dog, and I could see the dog from my apartment across the street. Without
Dang,
the
that
without
thing
those
is
without those glasses, I may have just seen like there was a person over there, and that's it.
That thing is strong.
Yeah. So yesterday was, some people said they were underwhelmed with what we got yesterday. I was not. I feel like this was one of the more exciting worldwide developer conferences. And going back to development, which is what this is about, you can write AI applications with 3 lines of code, guys. Like, seriously. Import foundation models, declare a session for foundation models usage, and then send the AI a prompt, and you
Hmm.
get back a response. That's all. How cool is that?
Hopefully somebody makes a chatbot basically that uses the Apple Intelligence platform.
Taylor's already on it.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I'm already on it. Trust me. That was something I was trying to do last night.
Oh, dang.
Since I'm a
Um,
relatively new Apple developer.
And in fact, guys, I want to announce something. Taylor has just released to the public her first app that she wrote from the ground up in the App Store.
Oh my gosh.
Dude, what is it and where do we find it? Let's go.
So what it is, it's called Perspective Notify. It's kind of a niche app, but what it does is if you have your own app, it lets you open the app and can instantly get to where you can write a notification to send to your subscribers.
Nice.
So the way that typically you have to do that, it's 3 web page screens you have to go through to do that. So
Mm,
this puts it in one place: title, notification, text, send.
Dude, Taylor, you're awesome. Congrats. That's cool.
that
Her
is cool.
first, she's worked on other apps, but this is her first one that she's done start to finish. And I mean, Taylor has been trying to do something like this since she was 18.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if
And
it
that
were,
kind of bit me in the butt. But we won't talk about that. But yeah.
well, when you started, yeah.
Yeah, kind of did. But luckily, you can have 2 different types of developer accounts. We kind of talk about this. And you can, individual or business. So
Mm-hmm.
I had an individual account because you can actually, did you know that you could have a free developer account? Now you can't submit to the App Store, but what you can do is actually practice. You can mess around with things.
You can run on device with your free developer account.
You
though.
can, yes, you can, but you can only have, here's the kicker I found out very early on. 3 apps on your device that you're making at the same time. I found that out very early.
Mm-hmm.
I have a free developer account for that very purpose to play around and mess with.
But the other issue when Taylor started out, there was this thing called UI Kit.
Oh God.
And UI Kit is how you would make apps, and you had to use, well, you didn't have to, but most people use these graphical storyboards where you would drag and drop elements onto the canvas. Not very accessible.
No.
But now you can simply write code to generate all of your UI with a thing called Swift UI. And it's very accessible, very simple. And you can even do it on an iPad. Which, is a good segue to talk about our Swift UI basics class we taught last year. It's also in Google Classroom and it's free. So
I haven't made it over there yet to check out what you've got going on in Google Classroom. If I wanted to bookmark it, where would I go?
So all you have to do is join the class with your Google account. And once you join the class, like this one, Laurel's class, the Learn to Code, once you join the class, all you have to do is just go back to classroom.google.com and you're already enrolled in the class. You will not be booted out. So all you have to do is just join and then remember classroom.google.com and you can see all of your classes.
Okay. Cool. I will definitely go check that out.
And you can post the link on social media. So
Yep.
I want to make sure if you want to share it with your friends, even if they can't join these live events, that's okay. They can at least see all the recordings and see the resources we have.
Very cool.
I feel like every week we always come up with something that's really neat. Like, hey, look what we found.
Yep.
Or look what we made.
Yeah, but that's part of the fun because we're always discovering new stuff, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I am quietly learning how to compile an entire thing for myself using GPT and the HTML and I don't even know, JSON and other types of files. I won't get into it. But anyway, the point I'm making is the things that we always talk about always inspire and lead to like exploring and discovering for yourself how to make things work for you. You know what I mean? Like, even if I
Oh, and
never publish an app, the fact that I built something that does something I want, it's like
Mhm.
exciting. It's like, oh, cool. You know?
oh, and I haven't even mentioned, Laurel, that you can now have phone calls translated.
Oh yeah, I'm
Oh
I'm
yeah, that's
excited about
right.
that. I love that. As a linguist, I love that.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the question will be the quality of the
Yeah,
translation going to be
how
depending
well
on
is it gonna
language.
do?
That's a
Yeah,
whole nother, because nothing's ever going to replace human interpreting or human
right.
translation or quality control. But that's a whole nother topic if we got into that, that would be an entire rabbit trail. So I will digress there, but it's exciting. But I would say, like, to anyone listening, use with caution and don't, like, use it as a general, like, use live translation like that as a general guide that will generally help you get the topic and the main points translated and across. But if you're having an important phone call where details really, really, really matter, you can't rely on a automated tool. You need, transcription, and then you need a person to make sure that something wasn't lost. Anyway, that's all I will say. Like, I'm not dissing the quality of Apple, but what most people don't realize is, like, something that's live translated via English and Spanish will be different than English versus Chinese or English Russian or English and Tongan, a less spoken language. So, always use with caution and always be aware that, you know,
Results
depending
will
on how
vary.
important the conversation is, adjust accordingly. You know what I mean? Like, use with
Yes.
care.
I think what I'm most excited about is this file management, like the magnification on the Vision Pro and file management on both iPhone and iPad are the most exciting things that I saw yesterday. Apple said we may not be able to bring AI to S Lady, but at least we made the iPad into a computer.
Yeah, it'll take a little bit for Siri to get more intelligent, but it's good that Apple's like wanting to take it slow with that because
Yeah.
AI is still kind of,
Well, Apple has always taken they may take longer, but they're going to do it right.
yes.
And that's what happened last year. They overpromised and they said, I think they decided, you know what, we want to do this right, so we're going to delay it. And I'm
Well,
fine with that.
I did hear at WWDC last year that they did fake the Apple Intelligence, which is
They
it could
didn't
be a rumor though.
so what they did, I wouldn't call it faking it. They recorded how it would. They basically did a mock-up. They at least for the S Lady part, for the writing tools and all that, they had that. Another thing to keep in mind, when we get beta 1, like what we got today, right?
Mhm.
They already have code for beta 2, maybe even beta 3 in the lab. So like that's why whenever we were watching WWDC last year, we were seeing Apple Intelligence, and we didn't get it till like June or July when we started getting some of the features like writing tools and things like that. They already have that stuff. Like what we're seeing in beta 1 right now of 26 is very much already behind in what Apple has in the lab.
Hmm. Interesting.
Just like for a fact, I know that even though they haven't released it, they've had touchscreen Mac computers since mid 2015s or earlier. Because why shouldn't they, right? Why shouldn't they have those things? Because they have to research and decide if it's worth having, right? So they probably, if you could see an Apple lab, they would probably have the coolest tech that will never come out because they have to decide what's going to be a viable product that people will use.
Yeah, they really have to choose wisely and stuff like that too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So
Yep. And they watch trends, they watch what their competitors do, and they say, okay, um, let's see how they do with this, and then we'll bring out our better version of this. With the exception of the Vision Pro. Well, they kind of did that with that too, because Oculus came out and all these others were coming out, and then Apple said, "Well, we're going to make an expensive version that will be amazing," and it was, and it is amazing. But now, they're still expanding on it because a lot of people thought the Vision Pro was dead. It is very much not dead.
well, that is good to know. Yeah, and hopefully sometime they'll make Apple will make like smaller like glasses or smaller Vision Pro.
They will. They most certainly will.
Nice. All right.
Okay, I guess my watch is on the beta. Let's see what happens. Let's see if I have a working watch. Whoa, that's a whole new passcode field.
Oh, boy.
It's funny, like they were talking about the digital glass, and I'm like, I can't see that.
Yeah.
Just, it was funny. I'm like, I can't see that.
Yeah, I'm low vision and I really use a lot of that kind of stuff. So I do love it.
Also, I wonder if they're gonna do the same thing they did with iOS 7, where apps are gonna be like if you go back even one operating system, they're gonna be like, oh, this is unsupported. You need iOS 26
No, you'll
once
be
they get
able.
updated.
No, well, it just depends on the app. The apps have the option to pick. So even with this, most of the design that they've used, guys, is still the same. Like
Ah,
it just has a few changes. Like buttons are still in the same place, with the exception of like the phone app, where they purposefully changed the layout, right?
mm.
But yeah, I mean, this all makes, it's all really cool stuff. It just may take time to, have everybody learn it, and it always does every single year.
Well, and that brings up a good question. We're doing something in the hall. Brings up a good topic. What is why should you learn app development? And a lot of people say, well, it's not what most people do on the internet. App development, I think, is one of the most fun and interesting things because you're building experiences for people on their devices. So it's something different. It's something unique. It's something that most people don't learn to do. But I mean, could you imagine if you could build your own app? Like, what if you don't like the mail app? What if you don't like, any different app on your phone? You can make your own. You can make your own version of that. I mean, we didn't like how you send push notifications, so Taylor made her own app to manage that. There is so many things that we can do by learning to build apps. And it's a very interactive way to learn to code because you make a change and you see what happens. And Swift is a fun language, I'm just saying. Although we give Taylor a hard time because her name is Taylor and she programs in Swift. Get it. Get it.
Oh my gosh. I knew somebody someday was going to make that joke.
Oh, that
How
joke has
dare
been
you?
made. That joke has been made a long time ago.
I know. I can't believe it took us near 6 months into this to hear it.
Yes. It has been made a long time
Man, the
ago.
only thing that I desperately want Apple to do, oh my God, please, Apple, is allow us third-party screen reader and open source options. Oh my God, that's the only thing I still am like, Apple, please, because it would help with as far as like languages that VoiceOver doesn't support,
Well, yeah, I mean, you can make your own text-to-speech engine.
And I'm working on it actually. Hey, look, Michael, you'd be proud of me. Listen, I managed to get. I know what people think of eSpeak. I get it, but it also speaks some languages that nothing else does. I've managed to get 80 voices to talk to me in the different languages I need them to in Terminal.
Nice.
So I am. Like I said, look, I get what people say about eSpeak, but at the same time, it's got value for languages that
Absolutely.
nothing else will,
Absolutely.
So, as a linguist who knows about phonemes and syntax and speech patterns and all that, I'm working on improving some stuff and I'm working with it. But dadgum, I wish Apple would let me use it as a full-on screen reader on stuff. It would help me so
Well,
much.
you
Come
can
on,
you
Apple.
can.
But you have to build your own, like, you can't just like integrate it into Apple stuff already. Like,
Absolutely you can.
how? Because I haven't found the documentation for that.
I don't know, but there is you could download, like, there's an eSpeak app for iOS that's open source.
Well, right, but it doesn't let you use it. I have that, but it doesn't let you use it as a full-on. Like, you can't. You can still only use certain eSpeak voices. You can't use languages that are not already in the system. Like, it has limitations. It's not a full screen reader yet.
Well, no, it adds it to VoiceOver.
Right, but what I'm
And
saying is it only adds the languages that like VoiceOver supports.
right, and that is an issue because VoiceOver has to support that language. Yeah,
Right,
but
it's not what I'm talking about. It's not like its own.
but I think that's beyond
Yeah.
a VoiceOver issue. I think that's an operating system level issue.
No, I know. That's why I'm saying, come on, Apple, come on, come. You know what I mean?
Well, they would have to add that
Um,
language into the operating system as something that the UI has been translated for and things like that.
Well, like they have like the keyboards and stuff for the other languages, and they have potential for it. It's just not, TTS supported yet. But anyway, that's the only thing that I'm like, hey, Apple, come on, man, come on, come on. But otherwise, I'm so loving how integrated everything else is, and like, you know, it's beautiful.
I wonder if that would work at all on Android.
It does. That's that's one of the reasons I got an Android phone for a work phone.
Hmm.
Yes, absolutely.
I
That's
have
why
a
I'm.
hard. One of the things that and I think Taylor has a hard time with this on Android, is the double tap.
Me too.
Like
I'm glad I'm not the only
Yeah.
one. I'm glad I'm not the only one.
just
Hey,
getting double tap to register is difficult.
what is y'all's? I've got a Bluetooth keyboard that I have right now that's working with my Android phone, but it doesn't have dedicated home, back, and like different Android buttons. What is y'all's favorite Bluetooth keyboard that works well with Android? If I'm gonna
Haven't
go
used
back.
one personally.
Okay. I didn't know if you guys had a recommendation or not.
They're apparently doing some work in the hall.
I'm gonna go out and get me a Bluetooth keyboard to go with that. And
Yeah, there's some really neat. I mean, it just depends, and that's the nice thing about tech, is you can customize it to your heart's content, right? Like
oh yeah,
it's not limited, But the other thing is that I think is very important for people to realize is that the technology you use is a form of self-expression.
absolutely. Let's go. We could
And I
talk about
think
that in its own thing.
because I think a lot of people really get hung up with, well, you should be using iPhone because of this. You should be using Android because of this. You should be using PC because of this. No, they all can do a lot of the same things. It's good to know what they do. But another example of this is cars. When you buy a car, you buy the car that you want or that you can afford.
Right.
And technology is the same way. And
Well,
I kind of feel like a lot of times there's a lot of shaming that goes on, like, oh, you're using an Android? Ew.
well, it
Or
depends on
you're
what your needs are, right? Like,
hmm
I got an Android for my work phone in part because, well, a lot of the clients we will serve around the world will have
hmm
one, but also because I'm working trying to make a Tongan language screen reader, and that works. I can test that out on PC and on Android, not
hmm
on Apple.
Right.
And so, unless I'm doing it in terminal, but that's its own thing. So, I think like what you're saying, like it's a good idea to be familiar with what your options are out there, what the limitations are of each, what the benefits are of each, and
hmm
what works well for you specifically as a user.
Right.
Whether it's keeping up with Apple's WWDC, like what we've been talking about, or whether it's familiarizing yourself with some of the blindness groups out there for Android
hmm
or for PC and NVDA so that you can keep up to date. Because here's the other thing, too, right? Like 5 years ago, an Android wasn't going to serve anything I needed, so I didn't even
Right.
think about it, right? And now I've got one for my work phone, and it's because technology's evolving, and it's not because Android's all of a sudden better than Apple. Now there are blind people I know on Facebook out there that say that, and that's fine. I understand why they say it, because for their beliefs and needs and perspective it is. And it's not that Apple's always been better than Android, although to some degree in a lot of Android's history it has been, but maybe not in the last 5 years. It's literally use case based, right? Like, what are you trying to do with it, right? And so I would say, if you're a blind coder, or if you're a blind person interested in learning to code or in tech, or in, learning to code insofar as you want to develop your own solutions to things and you want to innovate, even if it's simple innovation. It doesn't even need to be complicated, okay? Like, if you just want to play around with different tools to come up with maybe even just solutions for yourself that never go beyond your own device, right? Maybe you're
Right.
not trying to even publish an app or create something crazy. You're just trying to make it work for you. It's really important to stay up to date with what Apple does and what Android does and what happens with NVDA and things like that out there, because then you'll know exactly what tools you have in your toolbox, and you can make an informed choice about what it is that you want, and or what you want to play with, or what your needs are, or what you want to do, and equip yourself with, and go from there.
So, for example, Apple has their developer tools called Xcode, and
Mm-hmm.
I love Xcode. I
Yeah.
could sit in that and work for hours and hours and hours and not feel bored or not feel like I'm doing work, right?
Yeah.
But their Android Studio is Google's, and some people love it. Some people think it's the greatest thing ever, and I just can't wait to get out of it. Like that, it's just not my thing, right?
Right.
But that is all in the person. I started, on mobile app development, building iPhone apps. Uh, Almost before there was an app store, I was looking into it back in
Yeah.
2008. I didn't understand it back then, but I was looking into it, and to me, that's my passion. And you have to find yours as a developer. Find out, and you start with the free code camp. You start with all of these things, but then say, well, what do I want to really do this, or do I want to make uh you know uh think about this. Sometimes it's, even when you're learning to code, it's not about, can I make a good web page. Think about, if you're getting older, you're looking to retire, or you know you have other things you're doing. Maybe you think, well, everybody's telling me to make a website, but are the people in your lives going to really see that website and say, oh, that's great? But when you put that app on that Android phone or that iPhone, and they open it up and they see what kind of creativity you've put in, that's
Yeah.
magical.
Yeah. Or even if you just, like, even if in order to express your own personality and have your own enjoyment for yourself, even if it's as simple as learning to code so you can make a basic
Hmm.
game for yourself that
Yeah.
maybe you never publish. Like right now, I'm making myself a text-based game, a sim slash interactive fiction game. I might never publish it. I don't care. I'm not trying to. I'm doing it for my own hobby, enjoyment, and leisure. So there's value in coding, even in just that, like unlocking the tools. Like, 10 years ago, it might have been challenging for the average person to learn to code well enough to build a game or a tool or a document or a database data sorting and tracking system or a whatever for themselves personally, right? But nowadays, especially with, FreeCodeCamp and learning to code and things like Bits and Techopolis, and of course AI tools, that's not out of reach anymore. Like, whatever tool you're desiring to serve your own person, like your own personal, purposes, it's not out of reach anymore.
You
Um,
know, I've got an idea, and I'm just going to throw this out there. Whether it be if you want to help program it, or if you want to help test it, or if you want to play with it, either way, there's an app that I've been sitting on for the past, actually going on 10 years now. It's called Mudability, and what it is a iOS, Mac OS Mud client.
oh, dude, I'm in.
And so I'm thinking about bringing it back and putting it up for open source for people to contribute to.
Yeah, if you did, I'd so be in. Oh my God. Please. Please.
I mean, it was on Mac for quite a while, and it was even runner up on the AppleVis Hall of Fame one year.
I know. I miss it.
So I think we're gonna bring
Come
it
on,
back.
man. I miss it, man. Come on.
Did you use it?
Yeah.
Really? I didn't know that. Wow.
Yeah, back in the day, dude.
Yeah, we're gonna
Come
bring it
on.
back.
Hey, out of
And
curiosity, any chance you can ever incorporate like GPT or something in it so people can even use AI?
absolutely,
Dude,
those are all
that'd
things.
be sick. Please, man,
Because
come
we
on.
we should. What I want to do is make this a community based project where
Do it.
I will add features and things like that. But hey, if people want to fork it, add their own features, and we can
Dude,
do
come
pull
on,
requests
let's
and all that.
go.
You know,
Literally, let's go. I have ideas. Let's go. Anyway, that's awesome. Like, but I want to encourage people, like, hold on. Jackie's got to go. Hey, see ya, Jackie. I was just going to encourage people, like, learn to code as much as you can for as many reasons as you can. But if it's overwhelming, like if you get overwhelmed by the idea of trying to publish a website or publish an app or something, start on a smaller scale. Think about, well, what do I want to build for myself, for my own use, and nobody else's? That's a good starting point. It's never a wrong starting point, you know?
Or download or create a shortcut or check out the
Yeah.
gallery and see how
Yeah.
Apple's made shortcuts. That's coding too.
Yeah,
you know?
exactly. It's
And
what can you do to serve your own gain, whether it be
on
shortcuts or
Android, there's routines, there's Tasker, there's
Yeah.
ways of doing the same thing on Android.
yeah. I need to educate myself and get that way and on Android and get there, but I will. You know? It's awesome. It's like, I feel like as somebody who, I was probably, oh, how old was I? Whenever the iPhone 4 came out, that was my first phone. I was in junior high or high school, something like that. Now I'm 33. I'm like, man, it's never been easier to develop. Never. 10 years ago, I remember sitting in my apartment and thinking, man, I wish I could do fill in the blank, but I can't because I just don't have the tools. And now those very dreams and ideas I had that were dormant for a long time, we now have the tools to make happen. And it's awesome. There's never been
Right.
a better time to get into coding.
And like Quincy said on when he was here for the interview, coding is not going away. A lot of people say that AI is going to take all the coding jobs. I think we're learning it's not. I think we're learning it's not. And yes, it can do a lot. It can get you a lot of the way there, but you still need to put your flair into it. You still need to put you into it. Is everybody still there?
Yeah, we are. I was about to ask the same thing. I was like, wait, did my
I don't know
connection
what
drop out?
happened. Okay, there we go. I wasn't there for a second. That was weird.
You're back. We got you, though. We got you.
I was like, what is going on with my stuff?
Wow, this is still. I just put on my Vision Pro and I'm using magnification. And this is just one of the craziest things.
That's so cool, man. I love that. I literally love that. I love it.
Oh, that's neat. I've seen a car. Yep, I just saw a car pull out of a parking lot and turn right into the street. Never
Dude,
seen that
that's
before.
so cool.
Like across the street from where I am.
That's amazing. I feel like it's one of those things that back when I had sight, I would have jumped at the chance to try. Because, like, I think probably just like you, I would have seen more than if I had.
Wow.
Wow, that's cool. That's really cool. I love that. I love that for you.
I will be. So we're about to get a bad storm, but I will be the crazy person that will walk around outside with this on.
Oh my gosh, do it. I hope you're safe at least. Is it just a
Oh yes.
thunderstorm or is it like a violent storm?
Well, who knows around here?
Yeah, I know, right? It's Texas and it's June. I think it's maybe, I thought I heard thunder earlier here, but I'm not totally sure if I did. I know that Taylor has to go soon because she's got a WWDC event to attend. Right, Taylor?
No, that's not till 2.
Oh, I thought you said it was right after this meeting.
No,
Okay.
well, there was something else, but that got canceled.
Oh, I gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay, I was like, wait a second.
It used to be Let's Talk, yeah, but Let's Talk AI has moved, so everything's kind of shifted.
What time is that now?
That's at 3 Central.
Okay. Okay, cool. That's awesome. Yeah, I would love whatever thoughts anybody else has. My brain is kind of blank at the moment, but I could talk tech for hours, you know,
Oh yeah.
easily.
Ooh, that's neat.
What did you just do?
Oh, I'm watching our 3D printer work, and I'm looking through the top of it.
Hey, how's
at a,
that going, by the way? I know you guys got a newer, bigger, better 3D printer. Talk
Yeah,
about
we
how's it
did.
going to. I would like, okay, so since nobody else seems to have any thoughts at the moment, I want to know your perspective on how that's going, and also, Taylor, I know you talked about that designing accessibly and stuff might be different once you got the new one. Like, you know, we touched on it like a month ago or whatever. You guys were going to be learning to use it. Give us an update on all of that, would you?
So this one is the Bamboo Labs X1 Carbon. It has a few differences. One of the main one being that the iPhone app that they have does not do what's called slicing, which means it does not let you um, uh, basically create models and print them right from the app. You have to send models over from the desktop, and there are accessible programs to do that on the desktop. This one is enclosed, so it has a door. So I'm coming up to it right now. I don't know if you'll be able to hear this, but can you hear more noise now? So I opened and closed the door, and you could hear like the fan noise, but it's mostly quiet. Like, it's much faster. Are you guys still there?
Yes, I am.
Okay.
I'm listening.
Okay. Yeah. I walked away from it, but now there's stuff going on in the hall again. But it's much faster. It works really well. Um, oh, Apple explains SLED delays on a 9 to 5 Mac article. Okay, so I felt like a normal sighted person just now, guys. Because you know what I did? I put my watch up to my face. I zoomed in um and read what was on my watch screen at a distance. That is so cool.
Yeah, that's really awesome.
Also, one of the neat things about these glasses is it does um if something's really bright, it tones down the light to help your eyes, which I'm not as big a fan of, but I know that helps some people with photophobia.
Hmm.
But back to the 3D printing stuff. I really love this printer because it's a bigger plate, so I can build more, and the software even lets me take one model. So, and Laurel, we have probably. I need to update the listing on the webpage, but we probably have a 50 to 100 learn to code keychains made, if not more. And we could sell those. Um, but what it's able to do is I can take one model and say fill plate with these, and it will make it instead of using AI, it puts the maximum number of that model on the build plate, and then you could
Nice.
print it that way.
That's awesome. We need to make some social media that we can help push out to sell those things too, and that's super cool. That's
Yeah,
super cool. I am I want to get into 3D printing someday when I have the ability to.
it's
But
really fun.
I don't have the time or money to do it right now.
Yeah,
Someday
it
maybe.
is it is a bit of an investment in time.
I bet it's cool to use the use AI to help with that process, the 3D printing process.
Taylor makes models with AI.
That's really cool.
I mean, like these learn to code keychains, completely done with AI.
Is it like a specific program or is it like just code?
What do you use, Taylor?
I use it's called OpenSCAD. It's a text-based CAD software.
Nice.
And then I use a coding AI to help me code it.
Really cool.
One thing I will say about these is I can walk around completely as if I don't have them on if they're zoomed out completely, and then I could zoom in on when I want to look at something.
Well, I know we have 5 minutes left. What do we want to cover in the last 5 minutes? Does anyone else have anything important we need to touch on or cover? Assuming no? Can you guys hear me? Or am I having
Yes,
internet? Okay. I was
I
like,
can
I
hear
don't
you.
even know. I don't even know at this point. Internet, you know? You there?
Yep, we're still here.
Oh, good. Okay. I was like, am I
We're still
having
here.
internet problem? Oh my gosh. Well, I have super enjoyed our Learn to Code conversation today and also talking about all of the newest WWDC developments and announcements from yesterday. That's been super fun, guys. And I look forward to next week, as next week will be our last Learn to Code for a couple of weeks, since we're going to take that break between June 24th and July 12th, for the conventions. It'll be fun to have another session before we take basically our summer break.
Yep. And these have been going on about 6 months now. Is that right?
Yeah, man, we started in January. Can you believe it? We've been doing 6 months of this every
That's
Tuesday.
fantastic.
I know. it's exciting. So super, 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 super exciting. Super exciting. Well, I hope everyone has an awesome Tuesday and a productive Tuesday at that. I'm going to go work in some Google stuff. And we'll see everyone next Tuesday. See you
Have a
guys next
great,
Tuesday.
y'all have a great day.
Y'all too.